Everybody, I'd like to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court, our last court meeting for 2018. As is customary, we'd like to open up in the Pledge of Allegiance. This morning I've asked our treasurer, Joan Isaacs, if she could open us up. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda will be approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. You've all received a copy of those. What would be your pleasure?
Motion. Second.
A motion and second to accept the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. No old business to discuss. We do have a couple of items of new business. First, we have a deed that we'd like to get approval for. It's been given to us for Jones Cemetery Road. Martin's got a copy of that. Basically, this cemetery is in the middle of a subdivision, and nobody can access it to do any kind of care or get people into the cemetery. So the property owner has given us a deed, allows us entrance into the cemetery. Correct?
That's correct, yes, sir. 30-foot right of way.
And that is a conforming road, by the way.
So if
Do we have to have a road hearing and all that on that, Martin, or what?
No, they're just donating it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to accept it?
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I've already signed this deed as the preparer. The clerk will have to sign it, and the judge will have to sign it in front of a notary. So.
Okay. All right, next item then will be our county attorney budget. I guess, partner, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, can we pass that and come back to it? I'm waiting on a little extra information.
Okay, we'll come back to that at the end then. Okay, I've got two of our road workers that have been doing more than driver. They've been operating equipment, and I'd like to recommend that we move James Yaden and Michael Garner to operator status after the first of the year, if we could do that.
Motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Did you get those names, Alicia?
Yeah, where was you moving them to, though?
They're just moving from driver status to operator status.
Operator.
Bring us to our department reports then. We've got first will be our road department. We've got Jordan present here.
I guess first thing being approval of our road work request.
I've got a copy of the road work request.
Motion. On mine there, Judge, it says it's Absher on a tile. It's actually Bridge Hollow Road. Absher is the guy that's wanting it done. Needs to go on Bridge Hollow Road, though.
Motion to accept with the change.
Second.
I've got one thing I need changed too. On Big Sink Road, it needs end of county maintenance road sign. It just says needs end of county road sign,
Needs maintenance.
county maintenance. Yeah.
Got two changes in the road work request. Now, we
Motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I forgot about it, but since we're not having a meeting the rest of this month, I guess we need to get approval for 3,000 ton of various rock for the month of January.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Jordan. Next in will be solid waste. Danny Massett, would you like to, Misty's going to talk today?
Ordinance number.
I just have a property that needs to be mowed. It's at 98 William Court. I'll attach pictures for that for you guys, so.
Motion.
Motion second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I got one question. This 930.1 ordinance, is that what this is?
Yes,
To clean the properties?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
See, living squeezy.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Our treasurer, Joan, has something for us?
First, I have the bill list.
Received a copy of your bill list. Do you have any questions, or would you entertain a motion to accept it?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I also have the bank reconciliation for the month of November.
Received a copy of your bank reconciliation. What would be your pleasure?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And, I was so busy asking y'all some questions, I forgot to pass this out. But I do have a couple of fund transfers. I need to make some accounts whole, and so I have 2 fund transfers.
Okay, so entertain a motion to accept.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And that is all I have today, thank you.
Okay, and we have an item that, a couple items that weren't on the agenda. First, I've got Johnny Kane wants to speak to you about our camping rates for the upcoming season. We've been trying to get in line with everybody around us and comparable parks, so he's got a report here for us.
You have a copy of last year's rate sheet and then the rate sheet that I've proposed for this year. The big change will be on the bottom left, which is the proposed cabin rates. We were at $79.99 to $89.99 for the 1-bedrooms, and we were $89 to $99 for the 2-bedrooms, and that's way under market. It's really pretty much a middle-of-the-road hotel rate. Did some research. For example, the Villager Resorts in Conley Bottom, even at the rates that I've proposed here, we're still in the neighborhood of $40 a night cheaper than those guys. There are some cabin rates that are very comparable to what we've got. But as you can see, I've got the 1-bedrooms on Sunday through Wednesday, $99.99 plus tax, and then Thursday through Saturday, $109.99, and then the 2-bedrooms at $114.99 and $124.99. The other change on that rate sheet is the actual campsites, and essentially I eliminated one bracket, which was the preferred rate, so now we just have standard, lake, and prime, as well as our primitives. And if you look at last year's versus this year, it's a $1 a night difference is where we are. The reason that I'm asking this now is because we've got we open up our reservations on January the 2nd. So we got to have these rates set to get them into the system so that the day that they open, they're put in at the right rate.
Motion.
Second.
Set
the rates.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have one other request, and this is not for definite answer, but it's something that I would like for you all to consider as we go into January. As of right now, we have one courtesy camper. Also, as of right now, we've got more campsites and more volume of campers than we've ever had. So my proposal right now, at least to consider going into January, is that we bring on at least one, possibly two more courtesy campers. We spread them out geographically, leave Mr. Fitzgerald where he is in Site 1, put one group down in the body of the main campground, and then move one up around the top of the hill where 63 through 69 are, and actually sign a contract with them where we require 10 to 12 hours worth of labor, whether it be within the store or on a mower or trash detail or bathrooms or something to kind of help our maintenance staff out a little bit. As you look,
One question on that.
Sure.
When you say 10 to 12 hours a week, like if there's two people,
I would think that we would need to go
Each.
15 hours and then let them do 7 to 8 apiece.
Okay,
Something. If
just
it's just
wondering.
one person,
okay,
keep it lower.
just checking.
But if you look at the way that the large campgrounds are set up, they don't just have one camper. They generally have one camper per section. And that just kind of helps with the watchdog area to look at keeping everything as, hopefully, keep the trouble out, I guess you would say. So that's an idea that I've had that might help a little bit with our maintenance staff, with people working in the store. Again, we don't really have to have this decided until probably March of next year, February possibly. But it's something that I'm kicking around for you all to talk to me about between now and then. Any questions?
One of the things, Johnny, that we'd make sure, because last year, we opened it up online at a certain rate, but some people had already rented it at the prior rate. We just need to make sure before we open up online January the 2nd, that we have all the information
Everything's correct.
in our, because we have a camp website where all that information needs to be put in, and as well as the designated spots for the courtesy campers needs to be taken offline and identified as courtesy campers, because
Okay.
we certainly enjoy public service, but they really like to identify areas where we do wrong most of the time. So we can make sure we have that information in our
Right.
computer software.
And ironically enough, 4 years ago, we tried really hard to get Reserve America to consider us, and they kind of laughed at us. Now they've started calling us. They want to get us on their website. I haven't really taken that any further, but I'll talk to them and see what they're proposing. But
I hope it's gotten cheaper.
it's much cheaper.
Okay.
Well, on behalf of the magistrates and the court, I'd just like to say thank you and everybody who has worked at our park. We truly have come a long way in 5 years, and it's astounding to see where we are today, where we were 4 years ago. And I know it's nothing that we as a court have done, but it's our staff that has really just jumped into that and owned it and made it better. And I can proudly say I think we're the best family campground in the state of Kentucky. So thank you, and I know Dan and Joan and Jeff and Kim and Amber and Jess and Terry and all the ones that have just given so much, and Russ. I'm going to miss somebody by doing that, but everybody that's
I'd have missed Jason a little bit there. He helped
everybody that's put in sweat equity into that park, it shows that it's better. So
Not only that park, but if you look at Cole Park, Firebrook Park, White Lily Park, Shopville Park, Eubank, Science Hill, Firebrook. I mean, not just, I think sometimes we miss that we've got a greater park system just in Pulaski Park. I don't know why we talk about Pulaski Park so much at times, but it's the biggest, but y'all should be commended in that.
Thank you, Johnny. All right. Let's take care of some housekeeping here before we move on to our citizens' comments. We've got a gentleman with us today that has, who has sacrificially given of himself for the last 12 years to this county, and we want to recognize Glenn Maxey. This will be his last official court meeting, and Glenn, we appreciate you putting yourself out there to serve our county and all that you've done, and we want to wish you a good next chapter in your life. And we want to say, thank you, and if you all have any comments for Glenn.
I've got some comments. I just want to thank all you guys and thank the public for letting me serve. And it's been a pleasure, and I wish you all luck, okay? All of you. I'm sure
We'll miss you, Glenn.
We appreciate what you've done.
Let's get Glenn up here in the middle. Let's get a picture of Glenn and present this little token of our appreciation to him. I'll come up in here.
We can, I guess you stand back here. Right here.
You want this to put back on it?
Don't be a stranger. And you realize that, like, if it snows, Glenn, on January 2nd, like 3 feet, you're still in office.
Oh, yes. But I'd like to congratulate Mark Renshaw there for stepping up and becoming a new 4th District Manager. Good luck.
You ready? Thank you.
Thank you guys
Or
very much. All of you.
condolences. It might be condolences.
Next in, I believe Martin is ready to speak on the county attorney budget here.
Partially.
Partially?
Yeah. Glenn, thank you. It's been,
Yes, sir. You too,
this
Mark.
is my 8th year, and it's been a short 8 years, and it's been an honor to serve with you and have your support. And
Yes, sir.
You and the rest of the court have always been a friend of the county attorney's office, and I hope we've provided the support services that you all have not only expected but have deserved. And that's what we try to do. So thank you, Glenn, again. And that kind of leads into my request today. As you see on the agenda, there's an item referred to as the county attorney budget. And I think the magistrates all know how the county attorney's office works. You know, we don't get any funding for really anything except personnel, and from the state, and which is our prosecution duties basically, and then the county, of course, provides us some personnel as well. So a while back, the state auditor performed an audit on some of these programs that we have that the legislature has given us authority to earn money to keep our offices open, to buy copiers or rent copiers and paper clips and pay the electric bill and so forth. And actually, the Commonwealth Journal did a really nice article about how those monies get spent and how they go to the circuit, part of them to the circuit clerk's office and the brain trust and a number of sheriff's organizations, a number of different agencies. Well, we've been using, and it's delinquent taxes, our traffic safety program, and our cold check program. So we've been using those monies over the years to keep the office open and to supplement salaries for people that do work for fiscal court, for some of our staff, all of them that you all are familiar with, and like Tom Reed, B.J. Hardy, and Laura Kress, and June Wesley, and Sherry Anderson. Well, as the economy's improved, which is a great thing, some of those receipts have declined. And so I'm concerned that we're not going to have the funding to continue to supplement the employees' salaries for the work that they do for fiscal court. and for the county. And all of these help out and do county work. And I know most of you, all of you probably at one time or the other talked with one or more of them.
Called upon them?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So I've talked to Joan, and what I'm asking for this court to do, it comes out to almost $54,000 that I've been supplementing their salaries. So what I'm asking the court to do, beginning January 1, is to pick up that amount, and that's why I wanted to do it this last meeting, so it could become effective January 1st. Joan says the funding is there to do that, and I would point out a couple of things in addition to what I've already said in support of this request. Number one, as we discussed earlier, and you all gave me permission a couple months ago, we're going to be moving child support back into the courthouse here, and you're going to be getting about $24,000 a year from that move. So that will help offset almost half of this amount that I'm requesting. And I was waiting on some information from some folks at the Prosecutor's Advisory Council regarding the rocket docket. And I want to commend this court and those of you that were on it and have continued to support that. You probably don't really know this, but at the time you all agreed, right after I got elected and before I took office, I came to you, Eddie Montgomery and I did, and asked for $50,000 in seed money to start a rocket docket program. And you don't really realize that you were one of the innovators in the state for that program. At the time, Jefferson County and Rockcastle Fiscal Court gave a little bit of money toward one, but you all were the third county in the state that stepped up to support the rocket docket. Now, that's a statewide program that the Justice Cabinet is supporting, and I wanted the numbers here to introduce you all to how much this rocket docket program has really saved over these past 8 years and on an annual basis in jail cost. Because, as you know, what we try to do is, until somebody becomes a state inmate, then this county is absorbing the cost of that inmate being incarcerated. Once they become a state inmate, the state reimburses the county at $30-something per day. So the goal of the rocket docket is twofold. It's to turn a county inmate into a state inmate as quickly as possible. So this county starts getting reimbursed from the state. Plus, it's to get treatment for the individuals quicker, rather than drug treatment, rather than them languishing in jail. So I wanted the exact numbers, and newspaper, don't quote me on this exactly, but I can get it for you later. But I think we're about 4th or 5th in the state as far as the average days that someone stays in jail before they're released or sent to treatment or become a state inmate. And I think that's impressive. And you know, you all got on board with this early, and we have literally saved hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million, during these past 8 years with the rocket docket. So I would offer that to you as another reason for honoring my request. I think our office is doing a great job in taking your investment and turning it around and saving the taxpayers of this county lots of money. So based on that and the fact that you'll get part of it back in rental monies, I would ask that, respectfully ask that you all consider this request and vote in favor of it if you could.
Motion to give him the money. He needs it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you, Martin. You do a good job over there for us.
Use everybody in his office.
We've got 2 items left. We've got one that we're going to need to go into executive session for, but before we do that, I've got a gentleman here who'd like to approach the court, Mr. David Miller. David, I appreciate you coming in. We always ask you, when somebody's here, just kindly be respectful of the court and no personal attacks, please. And
of course.
if we can keep our comments, 3 to 5 minutes, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Judge. First of all, I want to thank you all for allowing me this time to speak. I'm coming before you in reference to Cumberland Ridge Road or Drive. I'm coming on behalf of the taxpayers of Pulaski County. When I first heard about this, I thought to myself, what a shame, because Omega Park Drive, or Omega Park Road, which needs so much work on it, it's a narrow road, not allowing 2 vehicles to pass without one pulling over. One side is a drop-off of 250 feet into the river. The other side's a gully, or a ditch. And I'm like, what a shame that they didn't put the money into this road, but yet they put it into another road. But then I started thinking about it, how much bigger this is than just Omega Park Road. Kentucky State Statute 178.115, power of fiscal court to open, establish, or alter road procedures. Whenever the fiscal court of any court deems it to be in the best interest of the county to open, establish, or location of a public road, culvert, bridge, similar structure in the county, and then it goes on for the procedure. But the first thing it says is when it's deemed to be in the best interest of the county. On August 30 of 2017, there was a petition to bring a road into the county program. In the petition, it states that there are 2 homes on that road, when in fact there are no homes on that road. There's one home on the end, which is a private road, on private property. That's the Beasler property. And of course, there's the Cayman Island properties, which is over 567 acres. That's listed as a farm. On that application, Martin and Michelle Allen, Jay and Kathy Conrad, Baxter Bitzlow, Ryan and Tara Childers. According to the PVA, none of them own properties on that road, but it's on the application. A committee was selected, Mike Strunk and Mike Wilson, and they approved it for acceptable for addition. My question to the court is, how was it determined that adding Cumberland Ridge Road to the county road system is in the best interest of the county? That's my question. I asked my UPS driver if he's even ever been up that road in his last 30 years. He's never even been on the road. In fact, up until about a month ago, the road was locked with a gate. I understand it became a county road over a year ago, but yet it was locked to the taxpayers of this county. But since it was brought into the system, why then was it necessary to pave a non-conforming road at a taxpayer's cost of over $139,000, which is 45% of District 4's budget, not including 590 tons of rock at a cost of $7,000, bringing the total cost to taxpayers over $147,000. That's almost 10% of the total road budget of the Pulaski County. Not only was it paved, but at a depth of 2 inches when opposed to the standard of 1.5 inches. I'm assuming that's for heavy equipment. I'm assuming it's maybe for future development. But the way I found out about this, that someone who actually benefited from this project came to me, knowing I live out there, and brought it to my attention. They thought it to be so wrong, so morally wrong, they thought I needed to know. When I asked one of you all that is sitting here why, I was told that it was done legally. My response was legal, but yet not responsible nor moral. The response I got, I guess that's their way of saying thank you to the boys. I guess that's his way of saying thank you to the boys who have supported him. I must ask all of you, is this business as usual? I believe everybody on this panel is negligent of gross misuse of taxpayers' money to the benefit of a few. No one here sitting on this court is exempt. You're elected officials sworn to represent the best of the ability, the people, your constituents who put you in office. I need to make sure that and clear that for you to know where I'm coming from. It's not about me. It's not even about District 4. It's about the taxpayers of Pulaski County and the proper representation and responsibility of their elected officials who have put their trust in them. If this is the best you guys can do, God forbid. Thank you for my time. Again, I asked the question, how is this in the county's best interest?
In my opinion, the reserve that's back there will be open to the community, and there'll be houses built back there. They run their own water. They built the road themselves. We just went in and blacktopped it. And the tax money that's going to come from all those new homes that they'll build back in there will benefit the county.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I thought about that, and I appreciate that response. The way I've always known it to be is that the monies, if in fact homes are built and taxes are raised, once those taxes are generated, then it would prove prudent to go ahead for the county at that time to take over the road based upon the monies that are being received.
Yeah, but
and that makes sense.
Would anybody build a house back there with that old gravel road that was in there?
Well, let them build the road, and then the county could take it over after the fact. They could take the maintenance over. We had no problem with it. I mean, again, it's already done.
Yeah.
I understand that, and there's nothing that can be done about this, but I'm hoping in the future that we can have more consideration for the general public as a whole, not for a selected few.
Typically, just from a legal standpoint, there's hoops you gotta jump through. These are advertised or signs put up. That's where citizens like you should appear and voice your concerns. And you can say you didn't know about it, but there's a reason that there's a public notice. And that's where you should appear and voice your concerns. That's why that is in the law for that purpose.
If a private citizen has to concern themselves with keeping the integrity of this court in place by appearing, then, again, heaven forbid on that one too. I mean, this court should hold itself responsible but for being applicable and accountable to all taxpayers. If it's because we didn't appear, is a ridiculous statement, quite frankly, with all due respect.
No, it's not, sir.
No, I believe it.
No, it's not. It's not a ridiculous statement. You can't hold this court to honor the requirements of the law, and you get a pass. You follow the law if you're going to ask this court to follow the law. That's my comment to you.
No, but Martin, again, with all due respect, sir, I
With
follow
all due
what you're
respect to
saying.
you.
I understand, but there should be some sense of accountability to one another in this court.
But you gotta
Accountability to the taxpayers.
There is. There's a legal process
Well,
for
let me go
taking
back
a
to-
road in. There's a legal process. You can't dispute that. You can say you didn't show up, and you can have a reason why.
Okay.
But there is a legal process where you have a right to come and speak and object to what you're objecting to today after it's already been done.
I'm
Mr.
speaking
Miller,
on
let me
behalf
go
of the
back to
taxpayers
where
for
I
the
was at to
purpose of
begin
this.
with. I think that one of these days, that road will help make money for this county. I really believe that.
I'm going to assume that it was done in good faith and for the
It was
best
done in
interest
good
of,
faith.
I'm going
It
to
was
make that
done in
assumption.
faith that, like I said, that one of these days there'll be homes back there, there'll be nice homes, and they'll be paying high taxes to our county. Just like you guys got back to know me, we come back there and took a curve out and took a dip out and redone the road and everything in 2006. Yeah.
Well, they also came by and patched it, half patched it, and it's cracking all up and so forth. Again, I'm not going to get into what should have been done, what could have been done, what I should have done. I'm just simply trying to bring to the point the fact that I don't believe it's to be in the best interest of the
That's your opinion.
taxpayers.
That's your opinion.
It's-
Thank you very
it's
much.
not only mine, but it's
Yeah.
many people that are.
But I would encourage anyone who has, this isn't personal, but I would encourage, to show up at, if you have
Trust
an
me, I'll be
objection.
more involved in the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, this has been an awakening for me.
Yes, sir.
Trust me on that one, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So we do have an issue with personnel that we need to address as a court. If we couldn't go into executive session, I'll need a motion to
Motion.
do that.
Second.
We need a
Is that, what's it for?
we have
Personnel, okay, yeah, under 61-810. Let me find the subsection here. F, 1F.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back. All right, no action was taken in closed session, but we do have a situation personnel, and Dennis Pittman has been in violation of our personnel policy, and I'd like to make the recommendation to the court that we dismiss him from county employment.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Thank you all.
Can I, is that the last thing you got?
That's all I've got. You have something else?
Can I have, yeah, I'd like to supplement what I said earlier about our Rocket Docket program. I finally got the information from PAC. Since the inception of the program here in Pulaski County, it's been $2.989 million. So that's over 8 years. And we are the third best program in the state as of the fiscal year 18 stats.
Awesome.
So, but that's attributable to you guys for having the vision to invest money. So for a $50,000 investment a year, that's the return.
Return in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We appreciate what you do for us, too.
All right. No further business. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We'll let that happen. We have a second? All in favor?
Yes.
All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Y'all have a good rest of your